Tool Tip Tuesday. Today we're discussing one of the most iconic tools in metal shaping, the English wheel. We're going to start with the Rala. So this is an English wheel I fabricated myself out of 5mm mild steel plate. It flexes a lot more than cast iron wheels, flexes a bit too much for my liking, but it works great, built many bodies on it. I braced it with this 5mm tubing, so it helps a little bit, but still, it is what it is. So yeah, if you're going to build one yourself, I would go a little bit thicker, probably around an 8mm, 7, 8mm, 5mm's just too thin. On to the next one. I have this MacGyver, a big cast iron one, bought up in Durban. What brand it is, I have no idea. If anyone knows, please let me know. It's not an FJ Edwards, it's not a Rala, it's a whatever this is. I haven't used it yet, but I think I'm going to need to shrink a little bit when I get down to using it. I've just got the wheel and the shaft re-chromed and ground, so any day now we'll finish this refurbishment and start wheeling on it. The icon, my pride, my joy, my baby, the Rala. So this is a cast iron wheel made in a long time ago, probably a couple decades before I was born. But yeah, weighs about a lot and still got the original top wheel, original lower anvils, according to the story I bought it through. So yeah, I actually did my apprenticeship on this wheel, so it's got a bit of history for me also. Really cool. But we're going to discuss some wheels now. So this wheel lives with a steel top wheel. Now the difference between a steel wheel and a rubber wheel is the steel wheel stretches metal as you wheel back and forth. The rubber wheel bends it. So I'll show you on a piece of steel now. Steel versus rubber. If you are a subscriber or a viewer based anywhere in Africa and have any old metal shaping tools you want to get rid of for a good deal, please let me know. I'll be there tomorrow. Yeah, they're so hard to find and I'm always searching. So there we've got some 5000 series 1.5mm thick aluminium. If we wheel this through, okay, there's not much pressure. We chuck a whole bunch of pressure. We can see, doesn't really bend the material at all. Nothing. All it's doing is stretching the material. So if we had to go now, yes, I got a lot of pressure here. I'm being a bit of a dummy. Let's back it off. And if we go back and forth in the same spot, now we're stretching material, bending it, but mainly stretch, which is inducing bend. So take that out. Don't know if you can see that. Let me grab a straight edge, make it a bit more obvious. So there we go. A whole bunch of shape where I went back and forth. So don't go on so much pressure and let your upper and lower wheels hit. It's not good. You're going to mark them up. It was a bit silly on my part, but it is what it is. Done now. So let's go to the rubber wheel and see what that does. So here we've got a much higher crown wheel in, but all this is doing, we're pushing the lower wheel up into the top rubber wheel. It's not stretching material at all. All it's doing is bend it. So we can go. Not stretching it, just bending. Up the pressure a little bit, just going to bend it more. And up the pressure even more. And all it's doing is bending it to the radius of your lower wheel. Boom, a nice clean bend. So this wheel lives pretty much with this polyurethane upper wheel on it. What this is a 2-part mixture of 60 shore hardness polyurethane. I can't remember exactly what polyurethane, but it's a 60 shore hardness. I think that was a word, shore Rockwell, shore hardness, something like that. It's 60. So yeah, this one, because it's got flex and I prefer wheeling on the Rala, lives with the rubber wheel in it for the most part. So when you're wheeling and trying to bend the shape, you don't want to use an extreme radius if you're only wanting to bend a slight radius. So what we do is we've got a whole bunch of different wheels going from nearly flat, more radius, more radius, more radius. They not true radius wheels. They've got, okay, well most of them are. Look at me lying. But I've machined a bit of a flat into my cleaning wheel. Slight, just because I like the way it wheels then, and it's much nicer. Also, shafts are a little bit loose, but it is what it is, works great. So a thought I had when I started wheeling was that, hey, the full crown sharp radius wheel is the wheel you're going to be using most of the time, and that's completely wrong. The lowest crown wheel is what's going to live in your wheel 99.99% of the time. This is used to put the shape into almost every single one of your panels. So if for some reason you've got a choice of only having one wheel, I would go with a low crown wheel. Works great. So if you are going to fabricate your own English wheel, a couple of tips and tricks that I cried and learned about. It's a simple machine, but it's a precision machine. So you want your top wheel running perfectly parallel to your lower wheel. You've got some adjustment here, but you want it in its base form sitting parallel to each other. So how I manage that is this shaft here. I made a jig that holds this one perfectly square to this, what am I saying, shaft, this piece of stock to this piece of stock. They will hold perfectly square to each other. Then all I did from there is I machined a spacer that sits behind this wheel to push this to the center exactly where I want it. And then there we go. Attacked them in the frame, left my jig on, welded it in, broke the jig off, and now wham bam, thank you ma'am. Another thing to consider is your upper wheel. You want it to be extremely hard. You don't want to be wheeling through some steel welds and then it's busy leaving edge marks or just grooving it. So this is N19T that I machined down and then got hardened to, I think it's about a 55 Rockwell, round about there, between a 50 and a 60, I can't remember exactly. Then ground it and just polished it with an orbital and then a regular polishing machine. And works great, holds the polish, I've never marked it up. It's also running, it needs to run extremely true. So this one is running about 100ths out. I'll put a dial indicator on to show you. Anything more than that, and you start putting lows and highs on your panel, because every time you go back and forth, it's stretching a little bit less and a little bit more in the exact same place. So every time you're stretching more, less, until you take it out and the wheel spins a bit. But then as soon as you put it back in on your panel, it's going to stretch in the same spot, the same amount every time. So yeah, that's where I paid my school fee on the wheel. Then, another thing to consider is I built mine, happy days, put the top wheel on, started wheeling, it fell forwards. So there was just way too much weight on the front of the wheel compared to the back. So if you have a look, I welded one base plate to a bigger base plate, took it off the crane, started falling over again. Welded it to a third base plate, still wasn't enough weight. So I cut a hole in the back, filled it with concrete up until about here, and now it works great. Weighs a little bit, a lot more, but 100%. Wheels does the job. So another thing to take into consideration that I'm regretting on this wheel, but I'm not paying school fees because I'm not machining another upper wheel, is the weight of it. So I drilled these holes. I made it quite a bit bigger than a Rala's wheel. Why? Felt like it, thought it looked cool. But there's actually some science behind the stuff. So now it carries much too much momentum when you're wheeling back and forth. It pulls you, then you want to stop and you have to pull back. It sounds ridiculous, but the extra weight that's in there makes a world of a difference. So if you can, you're going to harden the wheel anyway. It's going to be more than strong enough. I would lighten it up, maybe bore it out on the sides, drill more holes, make it look cool, be a little creative, but definitely lighten it up. So this one is 80 millimeters wide by about 215 in diameter. Got a couple holes drilled in it and it's way too heavy. The Rala, we can just compare. It's about, this is no precise measurements, 195 millimeters in diameter and 70 wide. So quite a bit smaller. It's got no holes in it, but much less weight rotating. That's it. Like, comment, subscribe. If there's any tools you would like a breakdown on that you see in my workshop, please leave them in the comments. We will definitely do a tooltip Tuesday on it and get to it. If there's any tools you want to see us make, leave it in the comments, let us know. If there's any old metal shaping tools that you want to sell, again, please, if it's a good deal, let me know. I'll be there tomorrow. I'll drive through the night, through the day, but I'll be there.